Alrighty. It's going to be a random rant. Got a lot of things I wanted to talk about today. I have some free time, so I figured I'd knock out a video. There's so much to talk about, and I have so much on my mind that I do believe that if I didn't have a YouTube channel or some way to convey my messages, I would go insane. To me, making videos is kind of a form of spiritual stress relief, and in a sense it's kind of a spiritual punching bag for me where I can let off a lot of steam in a constructive way. It's one of the ways I like to use my anger in a creative way. You can use anger in a deconstructive way or a constructive way. And I am pretty angry with the way things are here on Earth right now. With all the mind control, the hypnotism, the subliminal messages, the use of sacred symbology in a negative way to control the mind. I'm pretty upset and angry at the fact that we've been reduced to a slave race, and we really do only use a very small iota of our potential. And to me, that's not only disappointing, but it's degrading to the original design of man and woman. So I do believe if the average individual had just the smallest clue of what we were designed to be able to do with this body, they would go insane. To be filled with that type of wisdom, to understand that we weren't designed to be here on Earth to be little worker bees for the system and to get taxed and to only use 1% of our potential. I don't even think we use 1% of our potential. There's a lot of people out there who will tell you that we use 3 to 10% of our brain. I truly don't believe that. At least after experiencing what I've experienced with shamanism and experiencing Kundalini, it's like you get glimpses of what our real potential is. And in my opinion, Kundalini activates 30 to 60% of the brain or more. So, and to think that there's levels even beyond Kundalini is amazing. So, I do believe that there was a day here on Earth where enlightened people walked the planet and experienced the miracles of what it was like to be a human. But even in the spiritual movement nowadays, they want you to hate yourself. They want you to hate the flesh. They say that the flesh is an illusory illusion, and that it's all about being a good little human here on Earth. So hopefully when you die, you can go to heaven or this and that. They're trying to take away your ability to have freedom and peace here and to experience bliss, Nirvana, Samadhi, Christ consciousness here on Earth. This planet is either hell or heaven. So that's why I always try to talk about ways for people to attempt to at least get a little bit of their clarity back, even if it's small percentages. We're so dumbed down here in this matrix that to even get 1% of our clarity back, it makes massive improvements in one's life. So just had a little bit of coffee. I'm pretty jittery right now, but I like to use coffee as a tool, and it does speed up my mind. So, I do talk about coffee quite a bit here on this channel because coffee is, caffeine is consumed by 80% of Americans. It's one of the fuels that Americans run off of. And unfortunately, people aren't using caffeine properly. I don't care if it's in tea or in coffee or in soda. Just amazed. In a sense, it's like psychedelic sacraments. Many of the people using them, they don't use them properly. They don't use them with reverence, with respect. And therefore, they don't derive any benefit from them. When you use these things as fuel to go to work and be a slave or this and that. So, and I really don't care if people have a problem with me saying that humans are slaves, because we are a slave race. We were genetically designed to be a slave race, but the interesting thing about who we are and what we are, we actually have the potential to unleash a broadband of consciousness that can actually elevate us out of that slavery, out of that slave consciousness. And we can experience the bliss of what it's like to be an enlightened human, whether you believe it or not. So, man, oh man, I had a pretty interesting experience happen to me 2 days ago. Months ago, I had contacted a California medicine man, a real medicine man who had been taught by 16 elders, men and women elders from different tribes. And I never heard back from him. But for some reason I did feel connected to him, like he received my message. Whether, you know, that was through the email I sent him or spiritually. Real medicine men can pick up on energy from miles away. So I did contact him genuinely and sincerely from my heart. And 2 days ago, I was sitting in my room working on some video editing, and I had this strong emotion overcome my... I just had an emotion overcome me, directing me to a bookstore near my house. So I didn't question the thought. I got in my car right away and drove right to the bookstore. And I got there and I said, Spirit, if there's any books here that you believe I could benefit from, please guide me to that particular book. And you know, I went to the metaphysical section and kind of scanned through the stuff on Buddhism. Nothing really spoke to me. So I said, you know, maybe there's nothing here that I need. So I turn around to walk out the door, and I walk past the health section, and there's this book on mandalas, and it caught my eye, and I said, damn, that's a cool looking book. I didn't want it, however. I mean, I have books on mandalas. But it did grab my attention on my way out the door. And I looked up, and I saw a book that said Native Healer. And I looked at the author, and it was the medicine man that I had tried to contact. And immediately I grabbed the book. I didn't question anything. I looked at it, opened up to a page that was talking about something that I was thinking about earlier in the day. And I just bought the book. It was $8. Native Healer, Initiation into the Great Art. And this is by Medicine Grizzly Bear Lake. What an amazing book. You can pick this up on Amazon for a penny. I paid $8 for it. But just interesting things like that happen to me a lot, where I'm led to certain things, and it just feels good to feel... I was overcome with a sense of, not achievement, but just fulfillment. And the questions that I asked this man when I contacted him are clearly written in this book. Beautifully written book. I suggest anyone pick it up and read about it. I believe people can benefit from this material greatly. And, you know, I've received quite a few emails from people lately asking what the next step to raising Kundalini is after one has applied cleansing and proper diet to their life. And that's a great question. I'm not going to get too into it in this video. I am going to recommend some homework, some curriculum, if you do want to take the next step. And this has a lot to do with breath work and trance and putting yourself into meditation. And this book is called A Chakra and Kundalini Handbook, or Workbook, excuse me. It's by Dr. John Mumford. Psycho-spiritual techniques for health, rejuvenation, psychic powers, and spiritual realization. And it comes with the tatwas. And pretty much this is a great primer. This has everything you need in it to take the next step. And I wish I could make a video really demonstrating with myself how to do this stuff, but I do believe that this book will answer the questions in a much better fashion. He has much more experience than I do. So yeah, I do recommend books on this channel. I do have homework for people who are interested in taking the next step. That's just how I operate here on this channel. I'm not claiming to be a teacher, no. I'm claiming that within these books, many of the answers, many of the questions people have asked me about Kundalini are answered in this book. And this is a 12-week course, and it will take some dedication and some commitment. In the West, we're not taught to meditate and clear the mind at a young age. So it can be agitating for even the average Westerner to try to sit in silence for 5 minutes without moving. So in that book, there are certain prerequisites to taking the next step. It's a 12-week course, and you're going to have to start off with meditating for 5 minutes and clearing the mind once a day for a week. Then you can move on to the next lesson and the next lesson and the next lesson. So I mean, there's secret societies that require you to sit in silence and not move for upwards of 3 hours just to be able to be recognized by the elders. And let me tell you, the average Westerner cannot do that without moving. Most people, when they meditate, they start to itch really bad when they incorporate spinal breathing, etc., because all the nerves are being stimulated. And it can be very difficult to not listen to the cries of the conditioned self and itch and come out of. It can be difficult to stay in a state of meditation, is what I'm trying to get at. Real meditation. So again, those are 2 books I recommend. However, if you're interested in the Kundalini aspect to this channel and you want to know how to take the next step, aside from diet and cleansing and clean water and grounding yourself, doing dream work, etc., this is the book that can help get you started, ladies and gentlemen. I haven't finished this book. I'm still working through it. What a great book. So yeah, just a brief little tip. But I'm going to try to keep this video under 20 minutes. This camera shuts off at around 19 minutes, unfortunately. So I'm just I'm jaw-dropped at how fake many of the things here on Earth have become, including the weather. I mean, they've been able to control and manipulate weather since the early 1900s, the 1950s, you name it. So it really is a contradiction living here on Earth, because the natural world as we see it here in 2016 is nothing like what the natural world was designed to be or once was. There used to be healing pools high in the mountains, natural bodies of water, that were occupied by healing spirits, by very divine entities, where you could go and heal yourself miraculously. Everything that you dream up of in your mind in relation to fantasy, all that stuff's real, man. At least it was. But the system has come onto this planet unrecognized and set up itself, and now it's occupying everything. It's polluted everything. The education system, the television, the advertisements, the radio. Even driving through a city, you're bombarded with invisible pollution that you cannot even see. It's called electromagnetic pollution, satellite warfare, you name it. So we're being radiated to death. We're using things like microwaves to cook our foods. We're eating frozen foods. We have no clue what real food is even like anymore here in 2016. The organic food is absolute garbage. The apples are spiked with all sorts of added sugars. Same with all the fruits on the market. Even the organic stuff, it's sprayed with organic pesticides, herbicides, you name it. These fruits and vegetables are watered with sodium fluoridated, chlorine-rich water. The plants, what they do is they soak up everything in the water in the soil. So you are what you eat. And just because you eat fruits and vegetables doesn't mean that you're not a fluoridated moron. So many people out here think they're so special because they're vegan or vegetarian. And although it is a great start to a spiritual life, my God, the ego around people thinking they're enlightened just because they eat a certain way is ridiculous. But it is what it is, man. I'm going to wrap this video up short. If you want some crystals, some clear quartz crystals for making the gem elixirs and sleeping with crystals, feel free to go over to my website at www.sacredserpent.webs.com, and you can pick up a 5 to 11 piece bundle for under $20. Currently I only sell clear quartz. It's my favorite stone. It's one of those stones that you can use for anything, and that's why I like it. You don't have to buy all these different sorts of gems to do work with crystals. In fact, all the most profound spiritual experiences that I've had with crystals are with clear quartz, scrying and gazing into clear quartz balls for prolonged periods without blinking. And some very interesting things can happen when you stare into clear quartz crystals. Very interesting things. Crystals are very, very powerful. I'm going to wrap this video up short. I hope this video can help inspire you to do something positive for your health today, whether that be getting yourself a water filter, changing your water filter. Many people don't change their filters often enough. I know people who have had the same reverse osmosis unit for over 2 years without changing the filter. It's just amazing. That makes tap water even worse than it already is, and let me tell you, it's horrible. So, peace be motherfucking with you.